Welcome back, Mathletes. So we have our next lesson of Chapter 8, Lesson 8.4, which is solving two-step inequalities. So when we've solved one-step inequalities with one inverse operation, now we're going to have two steps. And if we compare Chapter 8's skill to Chapter 7's skill, you'll see they're basically the same thing. The only difference is instead of having that equal sign on there, we'll have a not equal sign on there. But the same rules that we would have used when solving equations in Chapter 7, we're going to use when solving non-equations or inequalities in Chapter 8. So we have some learning targets for today, identifying some inverse operations, showing how to solve those two-steppers using those opposite maths. And then, as always with inequalities, since there are more than one answer, sometimes even infinite, we definitely want to graph our solution set to include all possible values. So what exactly is a two-step inequality and how do we solve them? Well, we'll pause the video while you peek at textbook page 352, example 1. You can see that they even tell you solve these the same way you solved two-step equations with an equal sign. We write it out. We undo the addition or subtraction as inverse number 1, unless we see parentheses. We undo multiplication or division as inverse number 2. Notice that they showed that information or inverse on both sides of the inequality symbol until they came up with a solution here. And then they graphed that solution answer on the number line. So a lot of what we've done in Chapter 7, we're going to see again in Chapter 8. A two-step inequality just has two different kinds of operations. It either has a little bit of add, subtract, a little bit of multiply, divide, and mixed up in different combinations. If we're going to solve these, we're going to need two inverse or opposite operations. So when we have an inequality, like 3 groups of y, take away 8 is greater than 25, this inequality has a combination of multiplication happening here to the variable, but we're also subtracting 8 from that variable term. So we need to undo both of them. But which one do we start with first? Well, just like when we were working with equations and equal signs, we're going to go backwards through our order of operations. So start at the bottom. We want to undo any addition or subtraction first, unless they're in parentheses. And if that's the situation, you're going to save these for last. Then you're going to multiply or divide next. Remember to use the opposite and do it to both sides of the inequality. So here's my example. I have 3 groups of something. Add 45 has to be less than 72. Well, my inequality has already been written for me. So step 1, 3m plus 45, the 72 on the other side, and my inequality symbol, less than, is going to go in every single box all the way down. My inverse number 1, unless there's parentheses, will always be addition or subtraction. So since this value is being added by 45, we want to do the opposite. I'm going to show it on both sides. The 45s are opposites, remember. That means they cancel out. Don't go combining these and calling them 90. But the 3m term or bundle all still exists. So notice how I brought the whole bundle down. This is part of showing your step. 72 minus 45 gets solved for a value of 27. Do all that good borrowing that we need to do. Now I'm ready for inverse number 2. And inverse number 2 is always going to be the opposite of multiplication or division. So since I'm multiplying this variable by 3, I need to get rid of the multiply by 3 by doing the opposite. And I can divide by 3 in either of these versions. The 3's cancel out, but the m variable is still here, so I brought that down. 3's cancel out, and a 27 divided by 3 is just 9. So I have that my solution is any number less than 9 is a good solution. So I'm going to graph my solution set. I'm going to label my number line with a couple of values. I know I need to include 9, so I'll choose a number below 9, I'll choose 9, and I'll choose a number above 9. Now I'm going to start the graph at the solution value. So I'm going to select that spot. It's going to stay opened for this one because it doesn't have the option of being equal to 9. It's got to be just less. And I'm going to go left because that's where less lives. So this way, this way, this way, an arrow on the end. Any number smaller than 9 would make this inequality true. We'll give you one to try. Remember to practice showing all of your inverse steps. We'll pause the video while you work this one through. Let's see how you did. Well, your inequality was already written, so no problems there. Inverse number 1, did you get that it was adding 11 to both sides since the variable group with p was being subtracted by 11? Our opposite would be add 11. Notice that the 7p bundle still is there. Did you then do the second inverse as a divide by 7 on both sides to isolate that variable p and have it have a solution, any number less than or equal to 7? Check your graph. Did you start at 7? Do you have a closed circle with a left direction arrow? All right, my next one I notice is written reversed. So before I try to solve this and confuse myself with greater and less, if I'm less and you're greater, I'm just going to spin the whole thing around. So I'm going to move my r over 3, or r divided by 3, plus 8. I'm going to put my 20 on the other side, and I'm going to spin my symbol or flip it over. Now the sign is going to stay the same all the way through. It's easier for me to solve it when I have my variable on the left so that when I'm done, it can be letter, then inequality symbol, then number. I know that my variable bundle is going to stay, but I need to get rid of the extra stuff. This plus 8 has got to go. That's where my first inverse comes in. So I'm going to subtract 8 to get rid of it. The r over 3 bundle, notice, is still there, but the 8's cancel. And 20 take away to 8 is just 12. Now I'm ready for inverse number 2. And since I want this r to stay, I need this divide by 3 to go. And the only way to get rid of that is to do the opposite, which is multiply by 3. So the 3's cancel out because dividing and multiplying are opposites, but my r variable is still here. And the other side solves for a value of 36. So any number less than 36 makes this inequality value true. I'm going to graph my solutions, giving my number line just a few random values here, enough to show where my values are located. I'm going to start at the 36 because that's where my answers begin. I'm going to leave my circle opened because it's not equal to 36, but any number less is going to be fine. So I'm going to go left, 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 where all the less numbers live. Give you another one to try. Your inequality is 12 is less than some number divided by 5 decreased by 6. We'll pause the video while you work this one through. Let's see how you did. The first thing to check is, did you remember to spin the whole thing around? Should be a little bit easier to solve if you do. Notice that the less than symbol in the original problem gets flipped to become a greater than symbol. The first inverse should have been an add 6 on both sides. The k divided by 5 term got brought down. And then the second inverse would have been the opposite of dividing by 5, which is to multiply by 5 on both sides. The solution should have been that all numbers greater than 90 are true. The number line should have started at 90, kept an open circle, and headed to the right where all the great numbers live. How'd you do on that one? Are you solving your inequalities okay? Remember that parentheses are tricky, and we have two options. So one of our options is we can use the distributive property. What that does is eliminates the parentheses so that we don't even have to worry about them. So we multiply two groups of y, which looks like that, plus two groups of 3, which looks like that, which is really 6. Once the parentheses are gone, inverse number 1 is always the opposite of add or subtract, and inverse number 2 is always the opposite of multiply or divide. Your other option, though, if you're more comfortable, is to just save the parenthesis math for last and undo the math that is outside of the parentheses first. So since this is a multiply by 2, the inverse was divide by 2 on both. And then the whole y plus 3 bundle that was in the parentheses got brought down. And inverse number 2 then was the opposite of adding 3, which was to take it away. So remember, you have two options here. Pick an option that you feel comfortable with. You can either use the distributive property to simplify and remove those parentheses, or just save the parentheses to undo last. So we're going to solve some parenthesis problems. I'll solve one first, and then we'll give you a chance to try one. So personally, I prefer the distributive property, so I'm going to distribute 3 groups of m, which looks like this, minus 3 groups of 2, which is really just 6. 3 times m, 3 times negative 2, that's how you'll call it next year. And now that my parentheses are gone, I'm ready for inverse number 1, which is the opposite of add, subtract. And then inverse number 2 will be the opposite of multiply or divide. So since this variable is being subtracted by 6, now I'm going to add 6 to it instead. The 6's are opposites, and the 3m bundle or term is still here. Same symbol between, and we end up with a 30 on the other side. Inverse number 2 is the opposite of multiplying by 3, but just to divide it. Show it whatever way you like. 3's are opposites, remember, leaving a group of 1m, which just looks like an m. 30 divided by 3 is just a fancy way of talking about a 10. Now I'm going to graph my solution set, all numbers greater than or equal to 10. So I need the number 10 and a few values around it. I'm going to choose the 10. I'm going to close the circle in because the answer could be equal to 10. Otherwise, if it's not equal to 10, we know it's greater than 10. All these numbers to the right are greater than 10. If I didn't want to use the distributive property on this one, then my first inverse would have just been to divide by 3 first. And then, once this bundle came down, my next inverse would have been to add 2 to both. Either way, my m variable gets isolated, and I do come up with the same solution. It's really just a matter of your preference. We'll give you a chance to try a parentheses style problem. Pause the video while you work. So I do have it shown two different ways depending on which option you chose. If you chose distributive property, you're looking inside this space here. First inverse would have been add 72. Second inverse would have been divide by 8. Solution set would have been all numbers less than 13. If you chose to keep the parentheses and just save them for last, inverse number 1 for you is a dividing by 8, while your second inverse is an adding 9. Either way, you still get the same solution set. Open circle at 13, heading to the left where all the numbers that are less than 13 are located. How'd you do? Was your strategy successful? And we'll just keep practicing solving and graphing our two-step inequalities. Happy practicing!